He had everything, and he built it all himself. That was the part he was most proud of. No one helped him. No one needed to. He had started with nothing, a small room, a second-hand desk, and a name he was determined to make mean something. And he did. By the time he was 43, Marcus Hale owned a company with 200 employees. His name was on the building. His decisions shaped the lives of real people. He had done that. Him alone. But here is the question that haunted him long after everything fell apart. Was the strength he was so proud of really strength? Or was it a wall he had built and then locked himself inside? The world Marcus Hale lived in was one he understood completely. It ran on competence, on results, on the unspoken rule that the strong do not ask, they deliver. He had learned this early. His father was a quiet man, not cold, but careful. He showed love through provision, not words. Marcus watched him and learned the lesson without being taught it. Need is weakness. Self-sufficiency is dignity. So, Marcus built. He studied accounting at night while working days. He read every book on business he could find in the local library. He did not wait for opportunities. He made them. When he started his company at 31, he turned down 2 offers of investment. He did not want partners. He did not want debt. He did not want anyone to be able to say, even quietly, even once, that Marcus Hale needed them. For 12 years it worked. He grew. He expanded. He hired. He moved into bigger offices. And with every step forward, the wall inside him grew taller too. His staff respected him. Some feared him. None of them felt close to him. His marriage ended quietly. No shouting, no drama. Just a woman who said very gently that she was tired of loving someone who refused to be loved back. He did not argue. He did not ask her to stay. He told himself he was fine. He told himself this every morning for 4 years. Then the collapse came. Not suddenly. These things never happen suddenly. It came the way winter comes, slowly at first, then all at once. A contract fell through. Then a key client left. Then the economy shifted, not dramatically, but enough. Enough to expose every place where Marcus had refused help, every risk he had carried alone, every decision he had made without counsel, because counsel meant admitting uncertainty. Within 14 months, the company was gone. 200 people, gone. The building with his name, gone. And Marcus Hale was left standing in a nearly empty office on a Tuesday morning in November, holding a cardboard box with no one to call. He had no one to call, not because people had abandoned him, but because he had never let anyone close enough to stay. There is a story, old and quietly powerful, that has been passed down through Christian tradition for centuries. It is not found in the 4 Gospels. It comes from a collection of early writings known as the Didache, one of the oldest surviving Christian texts, written in the late 1st century, used to guide the earliest communities of believers. The Didache does not tell grand stories. It gives instructions for how to live. And one of its central teachings, repeated more than once, is this: you cannot receive what you are not willing to hold. The early church understood something that the modern world forgets easily. Grace is not a reward for the strong. Grace is an opening, and it only fits through a hand that is open. A closed fist cannot receive anything, no matter how powerful it is, no matter how much it has built. The teachers of the early church were not speaking only about prayer. They were speaking about the whole shape of a human life. They were saying, the man who refuses help has not chosen strength. He has chosen isolation. And isolation over time becomes a kind of slow ending. Marcus Hale did not know the Didache, but on a cold Wednesday morning in November, 6 weeks after the company closed, he learned what it was pointing at. He was walking, just walking. He had nowhere to go and he needed to move. He had been walking for an hour when a small voice stopped him. A boy, maybe 8 years old, standing alone at a street corner. He was holding a folded piece of paper. He looked up at Marcus and said, simply, clearly, without embarrassment, "Excuse me, sir, can you help me find this address?" Marcus stopped. He looked at the boy, and something in him, something that had been locked for a very long time, shifted. Not broke, shifted. He took the paper. He looked at the address. He walked the boy 3 blocks to the right building. And when they arrived, the boy turned to him, not rushing, not distracted, and said with complete sincerity, "Thank you, you really helped me." Marcus stood on the pavement. The boy disappeared inside. And Marcus Hale, a man who had built a company, employed 200 people, and never once asked for directions, stood there and wept. Not from sadness, from recognition. The boy had asked without shame. The boy had received without guilt. The boy said thank you and meant it because he understood that being helped was not a defeat. It was a gift. And in that moment, Marcus saw his whole life differently. Not as a story of strength, as a story of a man who had been standing outside in the cold for 43 years, too proud to knock on a door that was never locked. The door was never locked. It was only your hand that would not reach for it. Here is the question this story leaves behind. What have you been carrying alone that was never meant to be carried alone? And what might change if, today, you simply asked? Jesus said it plainly. He said, "Ask, and it will be given to you." He did not say, "Earn it." He did not say, "Deserve it first." He said, "Ask." The act of asking is not the end of dignity. It is where dignity actually begins. Because real strength is not the man who needs nothing. Real strength is the man who knows what he needs and is brave enough to say so. Marcus Hale went home that afternoon and called his sister. He had not called her in 3 years. She answered on the second ring. He said, "I think I need some help." She said, "I know, I've been waiting." And the wall he had spent 43 years building, began very slowly to come down. Maybe you know someone like Marcus. Maybe you are Marcus. Maybe you have been standing outside in the cold, capable, determined, exhausted, too proud to knock on a door that was never locked. The door was never locked. It was only your hand that would not reach for it. Here is the question this story leaves behind. What have you been carrying alone that was never meant to be carried alone? And what might change if, today, you simply asked?